I also want to know, what was the biggest surprise of the shows? Like, what surprised you most? Either whether it was a good surprise or a bad surprise. For me, it was actually Food Wars. I've heard Punchline has a similar, like, at episode 6, it gets crazy. And that's something I would like to go back to and watch. I dropped it after the first episode. I was like, this isn't really that funny. I don't like their jokes. It's awkward for me. Like, panty jokes or whatever, but I just wasn't really digging it. So it's something I actually would like to go back to because I heard it does get really cool and weird. But yeah, it's like 6 episodes in. That's a long time. That's halfway through.
That's twice your normal rule.
Yeah, that is double the 3-episode rule. So I want to go back to that. But like I said, the biggest surprise for me was definitely Food Wars. The first episode, like I was really like, whoa, I don't know if I like this, just because it is like, hey, this woman with like gigantic boobs, just her clothes exploded off, and now
she basically has an orgasm.
No, just yeah, she has an orgasm while eating her food. That is weird. And then I was like, I need to keep watching this for IGN, for research purposes, for work, for critical analysis. And then I did, and I am super happy that I did, because it is, like I've said, like one of my favorite shows of this season. It is super smart how they handle food. Like, cooking food is very scientific. Like, this acid breaks down this certain thing in meat, so then whenever you have this and this and this, it helps tenderize more. And it gets so granular, and you wouldn't expect that from the first episode.
Right.
Like, oh, it's this cool kid, and he thinks he's, all that
in a bag of potato chips.
I was gonna say something else, but I don't want to have to bleep things again. And it just is definitely a big shock with how well that turned out. And the animation is gorgeous, and the characters are a lot of fun, and the ecchi kind of aspects actually really add to the comedy. Like, at first, the first episode is a little overbearing. At first, like, I mean, if you're not really expecting it, or if that's not really what you're comfortable with, it gets a little bit different.
Yeah, it's weird for me because I'm always certain someone is going to walk in, and at that moment, and you're like, you have to explain what's going on.
Like,
no, it's for work. It's for work. I swear, it's for work.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah, so that was definitely my biggest surprise of the season. I'm like super happy with it, and I'm very happy that it has a second cur. So, yay, Food Wars.
Yeah. I don't know about surprises. There was nothing that, I guess Ore Monogatari was a pleasant surprise because I was kind of meh towards the description, where I was like, I don't see why this would be funny or so good. But I think, again, the balance of the relationships and how it all comes together definitely works for me. But surprise-wise, nothing. And maybe that's why I wasn't super keen on this particular spring season. It's just there was nothing that super stood out. I mean, I tried a bunch of things, and there were some disappointments, but there were no surprises.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, if I was going to go with surprise, I would say that my love story was a surprise, just because I wasn't expecting it to be so good, which sounds really insulting to the series, but I mean it more of, I think the description, kind of like for you, Megan, made me think I was going to get something pretty thin, kind of basic, and instead you got this really nice, as we keep saying in this show, like balance between a lot of different elements, like the comedy and the romance, and like the shoujo, and like the more like shonen or even like seinen kind of stuff. So that was pleasantly like unexpected.
Yeah.
I guess on the other hand, I wouldn't say it's a surprise, because I could kind of see it just staying that way after the 5th or 6th episode. I'm going back to Plastic Memory, guys. Plastic Memories. Because apparently everything this spring is just about me hate watching things. Not hate, but more of a hoping it'll turn around, hoping that maybe I'm just catching it at a point where they're trying to do some stuff almost not behind the scenes, but like more subtly. And then they're going to use that so that, in later episodes, it'll have this big payoff. And that didn't come. So I was really disappointed by that. I wouldn't say it was a surprise, but I was hoping for something else to happen.
Yeah.
I wanted to cry. I had the Kleenex ready.
Aw. Yeah, I mean, it is a little bit, I guess it is kind of a surprise that they did take that first episode and jump to something completely different. But I think it makes sense. They couldn't do the...
Oh, they could have.
Yeah, I guess they could have done the Android of the Week.
They could have made us cry.
At least, yeah, they could.
At least like half the time. They could have consistently made us cry, like at least in 7 or 8 of those episodes, if they wanted to.
Yeah. Well, let us know what you guys think, which was a surprise. I'm pretty sure we'll see a lot of Punchline